Today, we're diving into an incredible story about art, a family's secret, and a desperate race against time, all revolving around one little girl named Mona. Just stop and think about that for a second. What if you knew you had exactly 52 weeks, 1 year, to see all the greatest beauty that humanity has ever created?
Because what if there was a very real chance that after that year, your sight could just vanish, and all you'd have left are the images you managed to save in your memory?
Well, this isn't just some thought experiment. This is the very real situation facing a 10-year-old girl named Mona, and it's the incredible mission her grandfather creates to save her inner world. So where does a story like this even begin? It all starts with one absolutely terrifying moment. Imagine this. Mona's just playing, like any other day, when her world just disappears. Poof. For more than an hour, she is completely and totally blind. And then, just as suddenly as it left, her sight comes back.
The doctors are completely baffled. I mean, physically, her eyes are perfectly healthy. They can't find any reason for it, which leads to the scariest part. They can't promise it won't happen again, and that next time, it might be permanent. All of this is happening while her family is in crisis. Her dad is struggling with debt and drinking. And it turns out the real diagnosis isn't physical at all. It's something called psychotraumatic blindness.
This crisis is what pushes Mona's grandfather, Henry, into action. He comes up with a plan that is, well, it's as unconventional as it is absolutely brilliant.
Now you have to understand, Henry is not your average grandpa. He's a former photojournalist, a guy who's seen the world, who even has a physical scar on his face from covering conflicts. He decides that if Mona's outer world is under threat, then he has to build her an inner world that is indestructible.
So he creates this curriculum. 1 year, 52 weeks, 52 masterpieces. Every week they go to one of the great museums in Paris, the Louvre, the Musée d'Orsay, you name it. But he's very clear these are not just field trips. He calls them psychological therapy sessions. And the goal? To build Mona an internal museum, a private gallery of beauty and strength that she can visit anytime, forever, no matter what happens to her eyes.
This quote from the author of the book this story is from really is the key to everything. It's the whole philosophy. Henry believes that art isn't just something pretty to look at. No, it's a tool. It's a survival guide for getting through life. And so every single museum visit becomes a lesson, not just in art, but in how to be resilient, how to find perspective, and really, how to survive.
Okay, so the first tool he gives her is detachment. They're standing in front of this gorgeous, serene painting by Raphael. And Henry points out this incredible paradox. You see Mary smiling calmly at baby Jesus, but the baby is reaching for a book that foretells his own crucifixion. The lesson is powerful. You can find your calm, you can find your center, even when you know tragedy is on the horizon. Then, at the Musée d'Orsay, they're looking at this blurry, kind of chaotic Klimt painting. Mona says it feels like an explosion, and Henry just seizes on that word. He uses it to introduce her to this huge idea, the subconscious mind. That place deep inside us where hidden fears can actually cause physical symptoms. And he teaches her that the very first step to feeling better is just to say it, to express that feeling and get the explosion out. And then Henry gives her this amazing gift, this one sentence. He's telling her that the most beautiful, most vibrant world isn't out there. It's inside her own mind. It's a source of power that no physical problem can ever, ever take away from her.
The lessons, though, they start to get more intense. They stand in front of a self-portrait by Frida Kahlo, an artist whose whole life was basically defined by physical agony. And the lesson Henry gives her here is, wow, it's brutal, but it's so empowering. He tells her that pain doesn't have to be nothing. It can be transformed, it can be forged into this incredible source of strength, a masterpiece.
But here's the thing, these art lessons weren't just random bits of philosophy. They were all leading somewhere. Henry was preparing Mona for a devastating truth about her own family.
Finally, Henry reveals the real source of her trauma. That episode of blindness, it wasn't random at all. It was triggered when she stumbled upon an old, ugly newspaper article about the grandmother she never knew, a woman named Colette.
Colette, it turns out, was this fierce activist back in the 60s and 70s, fighting for the right to die with dignity. It was a hugely controversial idea back then, and the press just savaged her for it. And then, in a twist of tragic irony, she herself was diagnosed with a degenerative disease. True to her beliefs, she chose to end her life on her own terms, and she made Henry promise he would honor her choice.
Before she died, Colette left this message for the granddaughter she knew she'd never meet. This one sentence, this was the real curriculum all along. This is what Henry had been trying to teach Mona for 48 weeks, using the world's greatest art as his textbook.
And that brings us to the final, powerful lesson, where the art, the family secret, and Mona's future all come together in one single image.
Henry tells Mona about her grandmother's favorite painting, a piece by an artist named Hans Hartung. And Hartung's technique was incredible. He didn't paint light on top of a dark canvas. He would paint the entire canvas black, and then he would violently scratch and scrape and attack the paint, letting the light from the canvas underneath just burst through. It was the absolute perfect metaphor for Colette's life, and for her message to Mona. You don't ignore the darkness, you confront it. You scratch and scrape at it to reveal the light that was always there, just underneath. That is the tool Henry has given her.
You know that bursting light from the painting? For Colette, it was like a flash of lightning, and her very last command for Mona was to live with that same unbelievable speed, that same intensity, that same brilliance.
In the end, this whole journey was never really about saving Mona's eyes. It was about arming her mind with a museum filled with strength, resilience, and beauty. And it leaves us with a pretty big question, doesn't it? What images, what ideas, what art are you storing in your own internal museum to help you see when the world goes dark?